another fat fingered review. I'll do this one a little bit quicker than the last one that I did, and you're probably thankful for that. That one dragged on for a while. And now I want to talk about something that I use all the time, which is projectile. Yeah, so projectile is a way for working with projects. So you see that usually you're navigating through emacs is just in files. So, which is okay, fine, good. Quickly get into this one. First things first, let's get this back out to something normal looking. So, okay. See that I got my all the stuff that we were doing before. And let's go back into our init.org. This is actually done. Okay, so let's search for projectile. Projectile mode is something that lets you work with projects. So it lets you easily jump around between, say, definitions of functions and or the test file that's associated with the class, or even just run a command in the project directory. But it works by looking if you have a git, if it's a git project or some other version control. So let's quickly get this installed. Emacs Lisp, use package, project. And we're going to be loading up projectile, and I think at the global projectile mode maybe useful. Look at my yes. Let's look at my init. Now you saw this time I just did inbk, and I didn't have to jump on the whole file. Yeah, okay, so I have a lot of stuff that's already defined for projectile mode. So first thing is that we have it using projectile mode all the time. Delight, I'm going to go and talk about that in another video. Default search paths for projects is where I keep is where you want it to search for projects, and it will search for the project, all the projects that you've recently used. So if you use projectile to open a file and you're not inside of a project, it will prompt you for a project to use. And here is where I'm using another type of project, where I create another project type. So I'm just going to copy all this in and put it in there. Sorry about not doing this more. Actually, not. Let's get rid of you. And let's get into. I don't like that it always closes that out. Gotta change that. Okay, just to make sure. So projectile mode turn on. Don't need ensure. Need global ensure. My default search path for projects. Yes. Oh, there you see this. I've never noticed that before. So it tells us what that what the what do you call it? I wonder if this came from Ivy. I don't know. Maybe it's always there. It was on autocomplete mode. No idea. Good stuff though. So with the projectile mode, there's a prefix key, and then you get into all the different things that you can do. At one point, it was Control C, Control P, and then they switched over the default to Control C, P, and then they got rid of it altogether. So I keep both of them because the muscle memory. So I'm quickly going to say that this is for using a project that has PHP spec. This is how you would register a new project type, and something doesn't look right here. I think that I'm missing a. Okay, start typing here. No, I was missing that. is there something I missed? What else do I have here? Okay, so it tells you the command they use when you compile for test, the suffix that our test files are going to have, and the directory of where our tests are. So this is for when you jump back and forth between a test and the definition of the class. And this tells us where the source files are located. Okay, so let's just run all this. Hopefully we're not going to crash. Good stuff. And let's save this. Get back out of here. And I'll show you quickly what I can do with projectile. CP F. This lets you jump around inside of a... This is showing me the files that I have inside my project. And it also go into directories if I had other directories here. So recursively you can search all the projects in your file. All the files in your project. Just good stuff. What's another thing that I use a lot is Control CP, and I can run a shell command in the root directory of my project. Here I'm already in the root directory, so it doesn't really matter, but for running tests and things like that, it makes it really useful. There's also to jump between the definitions and the test, so you do Control P test, but here we don't have a project type set up. One other thing that I want to get set up is that you saw when I did that it doesn't use my the console. So there is like this if I want to edit this one. So let's get back to my backup and let's see where there's also dumb jump, which I'll talk about another time. I don't really use it so much, so I'm not going to install them. What was it? Council. Council projectile. And will give us no. Get that order. You know what? I think that it would be better that this should go into the config of projectile. So what would happen here, this way, is instead of trying to run council projectile, it will, at the beginning, don't need this ensure. Let's use this. Let's run it at the end. No such file project. Yeah, it's trying to think. Why did it do it? That's weird. Okay, that's okay. That's because I'm doing in a weird. Stop that alarm. Should be fine, actually. The council projectile doesn't like that. It doesn't. But if I do, let's see. Now if I do CPF, no, it didn't work. Council projectile mode, no. Okay, so that's because of this. Let's turn that. Because that, so let's see. Don't know what to tell you guys here. So it's choking, it won't start because it can't find that. You know what? Easiest thing for me to do is make a directory. Just so it'll work. Now this is annoying because this is not a regular. I should check if that file exists. Okay. Okay. Now let's. Now it says that I'm looking in emacs for files, and I can start. Let's see. You know what? It should be searching inside of LPagam. So if I say for something like maggot, no, it doesn't work. Weird. Strange that it doesn't search inside of the. Okay. So I'll have to take a look at that, but that's. I can do CP and lowercase p, and I can switch to projects. Right now we only have one project showing here. But if I were to open to another project, it would do. Let's see. Let's try this. XF up. XF. Now if I do my regular emacs D. Oh, it didn't show it for some reason. That's weird. Okay, well that's how, this is projectile. I use it a lot when I'm running tests on projects, using pretty much for that shortcut and to jumping between projects and their tests. So, yeah, read the documentation. RTFM. Call to. I'm sorry, this one was really bad. Call to.